This video will be on the level. Do you remember blowing bubbles in the backyard when you were a kid? I think it's time to roll the first clip. Greetings and welcome back to the channel, and welcome if it's your first time here. If it is your first time here, I do many different types of videos, and fair warning to you on that. And by the way, how's Bubbles?
How dare you!
So, we've got a pocket clip here. You might recognize this if this is something that you're into. There's only one or two videos on the YouTubes. Nothing's really going into depth on this thing the way I was kind of thinking I would like to go, and that's kind of what I'm going to do in this video. This pocket clip, replacement type pocket clip for the original Wave Surge pocket clip, and I say replacement in a interesting kind of way. I think you probably already figured that out. This is made by a company called Galvanox. You can find them on Amazon. No links. I'm an unsponsored channel. Here's the pocket clip onto itself. The reviews are all the same. When you get this thing, if you get this thing, and you push down on this glass vial will fall out. So I took 2 drops of Gorilla Glue and fixed the problem. It goes in and comes out the same as the original clip. On the Wave, there's very little play. There is play, but very little play. And on the Surge, there is a substantial amount of play. Well, this particular Surge here, I guess they're slightly different, but this is actually not that bad. It's in comparison to the original. This Surge here, I do believe, yeah, there's a lot more play. But is it a lot more than the original? Let's find out. It's about the same as the original Surge clip. Same amount of play. The tension, I'd say, is not that bad. It could be a little bit stronger, but it's really not that bad. It does go in and out of the pocket pretty good. You can see a couple of rivets sticking out here, but we're going to come to that in a second. Also notice that the pocket clip is going downward, so laying the Wave down on the ground flat isn't going to help. Popping the vial out and then just laying the vial out onto its own, I didn't find that to be of any benefit either, so that's why I glued it in there. Plus, it was popping out all the time. Every time I reached down to pull it out, by putting my finger pressure in here, it would just pop it out. So yeah, the glue is the way to go. So one of the comments, many of the comments is that it's cheap, and it is pretty cheap. It's not the best of construction. You can see the rivets sticking up, and you can see the heads kind of popping out a little bit. I think if one was to mod it even more, I would flatten out the rivets and maybe put a little piece of metal on the backside. It wouldn't affect anything. You would still see the vial perfectly. So by putting a black piece on the background, you would still see the bubble. So it wouldn't affect it at all on this 8-inch torpedo. And I'm going to come to that here in a second. But before we get there, let's keep going. Where is that? It also comes with this lanyard loop, a black lanyard loop, and it perplexes me as to why they just couldn't match the profile, because when you put this into a Surge or a Wave, it is super solid. Anyway, it comes with one of these. Not that you don't already have one of those, but you know what I mean. So when I first looked at this, I'm thinking, how can I use this? So then one option I thought was, well, if you leave it in the clip and then just use the tool on flat, it's not going to work. Plus, the tool on the flat, if these are sitting a little bit high, you're not going to get a nice flat, accurate reading. It's always going to be a little inconsistent. Now you're thinking you're never going to get it consistent anyways because it's so small, and well, yeah, you're absolutely right. You can only get maybe about that far, but we'll come up to application a little bit later. For now, we just have to imagine that we're only going to get maybe 8 inches to 6 inches relative accuracy. We're not going to be building a house or anything like that. That's for darn sure. But how can we use this thing? So gluing it makes sense. You don't want this thing falling out. So originally I thought, why couldn't I just take a closer look? You got this round and this round. So then I thought, well, just lie it in the center of the Surge or Wave. Again, you're never going to get it totally accurate because of these. These will never sit perfectly flat. And if you turn it around, it'll be a little bit different. Getting a level accurate, or checking if a level is accurate, Let's take a look at one way to do it. There's probably many other ways, but as an old carpenter, this is how I check my levels. Same concept. It doesn't matter if it's on right now, as long as the bubble, wherever I turn it, is in the same location. So when I flip this end for end, it should be in the same location, or pretty darn close. I'm happy with that. If I turned it 180 degrees and it was like this, that would not be a good indication. Now with my 6 foot, 8 foot levels, I used to do that on the vertical on one of the studs in a corner of a house or something like that. That's how I checked my levels to make sure they were good. But something like this, I think we're good. How can we do this? Then I thought, all right, let's bring this back. Big old piece of steel. So I thought, okay, let's take the clip off and, you know, like just lay it down like this. Okay. So we got the hook on the left. We got the hook on the right. The bubble's on the left. And the bubble's on the right. Clearly this is not accurate. If I turned it 180 degrees and the bubbles in the exact same spot, just like I showed over here, we'd be good. So that tells me that this bubble thing, or this round thing, isn't going to work. So there's some inaccuracy going on here. Then I looked at it a little closer and I thought, well, I got a flat line here and I've got a flat line here. How flat? Pretty darn good, and pretty darn good that way too. So it sits pretty flat. I'm trying to rock it. Now if I rotate it like this, obviously that's not going to be good. So I wanted it about 90 degrees to make sure that I've got that flat. And I think I found the sweet spot. All right, so let's take it to the next level. Next level, I just got that. Okay, so here we have the clip. So we've got the hook on the top here. I'm going to call this the, I don't know, let's just call it the left side. And we'll call this the right side. So I'll try the left side first. I'll lay it down, get it flat. And again, it doesn't matter the object. If this windowsill is a little bit out of level, it won't matter. Okay, so I'm on the left side of the pocket clip. And you can see where the bubble lands. You notice that the bubble is very slow, but it's not that bad. Well, let's give that 180 degrees. Making sure that that's flat. And you know what? 8 inches somewhere in there.
How dare you?
It's close. That's the left side of the pocket clip. Let's try the right side of the pocket clip. I'm going to make sure that this thing is lying flat. Bubbles a little to the left. I give it 180 degrees. And just got to wait for that bubble to do its thing. Again, it's pretty close. If it's leaning to the left, which it might be leaning to the left just a tiny bit. Okay. Let's do that again. And we're a tiny bit to the left. So I would say that this side, the right side, is the side that I would use if I was to use this just to check something to see how close it was. My frying pan has got a little bit of schmutz on it. So when I'm in the woods and I've got my frying pan sitting on top of my firebox stove, I like it to sit level so my eggs don't shoot over to one side when I'm cooking them. This might come in handy in a situation like this where I could kind of level up. I could kind of level up the firebox. Is it stupid? More than likely. And here's what it looks like going in the pocket. Works pretty good. Looks kind of levelly. So this concludes my little video. I hope you found it to be benevolent, interesting, and somewhat informative.
How dare you!